Hello there. I left the studio to continue on with some Strawberry Ink overdues from back in January. Anyways, welcome. I'm your host, Santiago. And in this show, crime meets consequence, and every truth gets inked. So today, we're diving into a devastating story out of Fort Worth, Texas. This is the case of Officer Garrett Hull, the suspects who changed his life forever, and the courtroom battles that followed. On that September 9th in 2018, Fort Worth police officer Garrett Hull was working an undercover shift, tracking free armed robbery suspects believed to be hidden up local bars. That night, their luck ran out. When the police confronted the trio, Timothy Huff, Samuel Mayfield, and Desion Steptoe, chaos erupted. Gunfire broke out. Officer Hall was shot in the head. He was rushed by one of his fellow officers to the John Peter Smith Hospital in Fort Worth, bleeding on his co-worker's lap. Despite the efforts, he did not survive. As for Desion Steptoe, whom the police say pulled that trigger, he was killed at the scene. Officers opened fire in the heat of the moment. His body was taken to the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's office and identified through an ID. All officers involved in that shootout were quickly cleared of any wrongdoing. Timothy Hoff and Samuel Mayfield did not die that night. They were arrested at the scene and taken to the Fort Worth Police Department headquarters. From there, after identification, they were booked into the Tarrant County Jail. Their first appearance came quickly. Judge George Gallagher of the Tarrant County District Court denied them bond. Assistant District Attorneys Tim Rogers and Lloyd Welchel made one thing clear. They were prosecuting the case together, and they'd be taking it to a grand jury with evidence from a state probe. The public defender assigned to both defendants was William Harris. A grand jury agreed with prosecutors. Both were indicted on single counts of capital murder. These indictments were soon unsealed, and they were eligible for the death penalty. But 2 weeks later, Timothy and Samuel stood before Judge Gallagher and pleaded not guilty. The death penalty after this hearing was off the table due to a lack of evidence, but the stakes remained sky high. Now let's talk funerals. Desion Steptoe's visitation took place on September 25th at the Golden Gate Funeral Home in Fort Worth. His final farewell, a mass at the Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church. It ended with his cremation. All took place in Fort Worth. Officer Garrett Hull's memorial was private. A service and visitation took place on September 21st at the Christ Chapel Bible Church. The Calvario Funeral Home of Dallas arranged a service. Hull was laid to rest at the Greenwood Cemetery in Fort Worth. Fast forward to June 2022. Timothy Huff, maintaining his innocence, went to trial. The courtroom was filled with emotion. A jury of 12 members and 4 alternates listened to every detail. On June 27th, just after 30 minutes of deliberation, they returned a verdict, guilty of capital murder. Judge Gallagher wasted no time. Huff was sentenced to life in prison without parole. The following year, in January 2023, Samuel Mayfield took a different route. He reached a plea deal, pleading guilty before Judge Gallagher. His sentence immediately imposed 60 years in prison. The courtroom battle was not over. In August 2022, Judge Gallagher refused to modify any of the cases. No withdrawals, no retrial, no tossings, and obviously no bond. A year later, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals also refused those themes And in December 2023, the U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear the case. By May 2025, only Mayfield had one appeal pending. Timothy Huff, by this point, had lost every appeal. And Mayfield still has that one appeal pending to this day. Due to how complex it is regarding the length of his sentence. So, in this story we just discussed, a fallen officer, a deadly shootout, 2 people behind bars, and 1 life lost in service to a city. This is a story of justice in the state of Texas, but in the courtrooms and in life, not all verdicts bring peace. Thank you for listening to Strawberry Ink. If today's episode moved you, please subscribe to the Strawberry Ink YouTube channel, follow the show, leave a like, comment, and review, and have a good rest of your day.